3.
Hi, this is Tavi Greiner, Astronomy.fm's Vice President of Communications. If you enjoy our programming, please let us know with a donation to astronomy.fm/donate. We really do rely on your support, and it's true, every little bit counts.
AFM.
Program complete. Enter when ready.
The curtain of night is drawn back. The telescopes are trained. The domes are open. The audience is set. Now, step into the event horizon.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Event Horizon here on Astronomy.fm radio. It is another Friday evening. This one is August the 23rd, 2019, about 9 o'clock in the evening. For those of us here in the eastern portion of North America, and happens to be daylight savings time, by the way. Universal time, that would put it at 1 o'clock Saturday morning, August the 24th. So welcome, everybody, for this next live 1 hour. And, of course, welcome everybody in our chat room. Got Andre, Aqua for you and me, of course, and Starstorm. Come on over to the chat room. You know, if you can't find it, go to the homepage, astronomy.fm, and you'll find where to get into our chat room. We read it while we try to go through all the news articles and stuff like that. And if you have questions for us, feel free to ask them. And
let me. Hi, Redshirt 3. Glad you can make it.
Yep.
As I say, I'm in the middle of a book on my Kindle, so it's I'm enjoying it. It's a nice, relaxing evening. I bought a new map as well.
You bought a new map?
I bought a new map. Yes.
Sky map, or like of your neighborhood, or.
No, it's a look. Well, I say it's a new map, but
a new
really,
old map?
It's a new old map. Yes. So
New to you, ancient map, antique?
Yeah, reasonably antique. It's a 40 years map since the first Apollo moon landing in 1969. So it's Patrick Moore's moon map special anniversary map to commemorate the Apollo missions and 40 years since Apollo 11, 1969 to the year 2000. Of course, the really nice thing is it's got a proper Patrick Moore signature on it. So that is once I get it into my sticky little mitts, it's going to be. I'm going to take it down and get it framed so I can hang it on the wall.
Mm-hmm. Proper you mean being authentic? He actually signed it.
He actually signed it, yes, because I am very, 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 very careful where I buy these type of things from, and I did do a little bit of research, and my research said, yes, this is definitely one that was signed genuinely by Patrick Moore. So
why was he signing those, and what was the circumstances of his? Did he do a bunch of them for a special fundraiser, do you know, or what was the circumstances?
Well, he signed a few, and one of them, as usual, has fallen into my lap. So I've got a moon book by him signed. I have got a book by David Levy with David's signature on it as well. In fact, I told him about it, and I sent him a picture of the signed page, and he says, yes, that's definitely me. I'm glad that somebody has got it who really cares about it, because he wasn't very happy that the person he signed the book for sold the book.
Yeah.
But as I say, it's in my collection. It is not leaving my collection until I'm pushing up the daisies.
Good.
But every now and again, I go onto eBay or something, and I like to look for stuff that appeals to me. This appeals to me because, yes, I fairly lay the blame for my astronomical interest to Messrs. Patrick Moore, James Burke, and Arthur C. Clarke. Because they were doing the BBC Apollo programs at the time, and because of Patrick et al., I bugged my parents, and they got me a Tasco reflector that would, it says it would show me the Andromeda Galaxy, which we all know doesn't really happen. But
I could find the Andromeda Galaxy through that telescope, but not very many other people can.
Yeah, but
good observers can, but beginners, no way.
Well, the thing is, he's not going to show you the stunning picture that's on the box. That's
no, definitely not.
A faint fuzzy yes, and that's about it.
Yes.
But having said that, that whetted my appetite. I would go and stick the telescope out of my bedroom window back when I lived in a place called Ibbots Close in Kempston, and I would look at the moon, and I would look at Jupiter, and I pretty much got hooked. A few years later, I actually disassembled one of the eyepieces because I wanted to know how it worked. It's the type of thing you actually do. Then I moved on and I got a 4.5-inch reflector, and then I got a 10-inch Meade star finder, which I really, really regretted selling. Then I got my C10 Celestron NGT Go-To and binoculars and stuff. And of course, there is another purchase that is about to happen. More about that once I get to the UK, of course. And of course, the other thing I've had to buy since I did that is I had to buy a Prima Labs Senso Certo autofocuser, remote focuser, because I am not a visual observer. I wear trifocal glasses, so I have gone to the dark side. We have CCD, cookies, and hot chocolate every night, served by the Dark Sith Lord Darth Vader himself, of course. So yes, my Canon DSLR will be, and coffee, and tea, and whatever else we can find to keep ourselves awake. But seriously, the thing is, I am not a visual observer anymore. My eyesight being what it is, no laser surgery wouldn't always help. I know someone who had LASIK or laser surgery, and their night vision is like, if they look at a street lamp, it's all spokes and blobs. And no, I'm not that stupid, thank you. I will make do with my glasses, and I will make do with the fact that I'm going to tack either a DSLR, or I'm going to eventually at some point, I suppose, buy a CCD with a filter wheel, at least a 6-slot filter wheel. Yes.
Focusers are, that's what focusers do. They correct your vision on a scope. So.
Well, the really nice thing about this focuser, not right now, Starstorm. I can't eat ice cream and do the show. I wish I could. But the thing is, no, seriously, the great thing about a remote focuser is I can connect it to my laptop or my computer. I've got a third computer now, by the way. That's waiting for me back in the UK. And it means, of course, I can then just sit there. I can use backyard EOS to control everything.
Yes.
And the nice thing is, although my DSLR is not set up for video, it will record video through the software.
Ah, nice.
Oh yeah, I love what the backyard EOS what they did with that. It will, as long as there's an ASCOM driver. Hi, Evil Spot, glad you can make it.
So saying that somebody else that came into our chat for those listeners out there. Yeah.
So really, the thing is for me, I can sit there. I can have my favorite transceiver up and running. I can be doing an astronet somewhere in the world, and I can also be imaging. And I have kind of one of my favorite musicians has convinced me that I should do a First Light Live either on YouTube or on Facebook. So yeah, I'm going to do it. What the hell? I can do that. It should be fun.
There you go.
So it will be interesting. But I've run into a lot of problems when I was looking at buying a scope over here. I started talking to shipping companies. They wanted to charge me the cost of the telescope to ship it.
To ship it where to where?
From the US to the UK.
Gotcha.
So unfortunately, I've had to really sit back and look at what I want to do, what I want to get. I am still going to get a scope. I am going for the 1/2 meter still.
What configuration? What optical configuration?
It's going to be Dobsonian.
Gotcha.
It's going to be approximately f4.
Mm-hmm.
And as I say, I am going to sit in my old Radio Shack. I will listen to the world. I will talk to the world, and I will be imaging.
Mm-hmm.
And I am really gutted that that most 99% of all the quotes I have had for shipping, as soon as they hear the word telescope, it's gone through the roof. I can't believe what they want to charge me.
Yes, because they actually truly have to be careful when they ship it. The shippers do.
Marty, I have been shipping my old Newtonian back and forth between the UK and the US over the last 20 years.
And no issues. Well, that's good.
No issues.
I've heard so many stories of
that it shipped to me in.
I've heard of so many stories of scopes getting, opened up after shipping companies got it and had the optics broken.
No, as I say, I write in very large. I take a Sharpie and I write fragile. If you break it, you replace it.
There you go.
It works. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
It works. But as I say, the thing is, I have set goals. Okay, and I think this is one of the reasons I bought this Patrick Moore moon map, is because I have I enjoy following rills. I enjoy looking at the lunar ridge, at the lunar mountains. I love looking at the landing sites of Apollo missions. I love looking for domes.
Rills and thrills.
Yeah, literally. Come on, Hadley Rill. That is just following Hadley Rill is in all honesty fun. There's so many rills. There's so many domes. There's so many lunar mountains and mountain ranges that you can actually potter around. And let's face it, the best thing about the moon is, as the Terminator crosses the moon's face, the whole way you see what you're looking at changes. Yes, it is really.
Really, yeah, that's what I was going to say. You got to get real when you're looking at the moon.
As I say, the moon changes on a regular basis. So when you're looking at the waxing crescent through first quarter, you can look for the optical illusions like the Werner X. And there's a Y formation as well. It's an optical illusion. We know that. But the thrill is looking for it and recording it. You can follow how the shadow of a crater peak changes as the illumination progresses during the lunar phase.
Mm-hmm.
And there are just things that you can only see at certain parts of the lunar phase.
Especially the libration points, too.
Exactly. When libration happens, it lets you see further east or sometimes further west, north, or south.
A little bit north and south, yep. So basically what you do is, because the moon's orbit is not at constant speed, it actually varies because of its orbit. So sometimes you can actually see around the moon just a little bit. You can see a few extra features, and especially if you're a good observer. So you can see basically more than just half of the moon that's in front of you. You can see a little bit around. A little bit more of a challenge that way, but yeah, you can do that. Oh,
by the way, Red Shirt 3, the only person I know with laser eyes is Orc on Mork's Orson on Mork's planet. He has laser eyes.
Mork, as in Mork and Mindy?
Yes. And of course, the thing is, once you really get set up well, you can set up instrumentation on your telescope to look for lunar impacts, for micrometeor strikes on the moon.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, what amuses me is this is ongoing science wanted by NASA. They want people to record micrometeoroid strikes on the moon, nanos, that's bad, so that they can look at which areas of the moon are more prone to these strikes. So when they actually come to finally put up Moonbase Alpha, they know which are the best parts of the moon.
That's got to be totally random, though, where a place most likely hit on the moon would be.
Starstorm is off showing me her dish of ice cream. She's used an ice cream cone for a hat. She's got a face. She's got strawberry ears, blueberry eyes, and a mouth made from smaller blueberries. Ooh. Go! You rock, Starstorm. But as I say, it's one of those things that everybody complains. All the deep sky people bitch about it. Oh, the moon is blasting me. I can't see this or that nebulae or something. Get a life, dude. Image the moon and look at the moon when you can. And when it's new moon, go for the deep sky stuff. I plan to go for really faint comets. See how far I can push the DSLR. And I know at some point I will have to get a CCD. And then I'm going to have to start really paying attention to my imaging and start processing again in a very heavy manner. Start doing my lights, my darks, my flats. But you know what? That's life, guys. When nature decides it's moon time, go for the moon. When it's moon dark or new moon, go for the deep sky stuff. Hey, what can you do? There's so many opportunities to actually have fun and image, and we have observed the moon. International observed the moon night every year. How better to get somebody into astronomy? Show them the moon through a telescope or a pair of binoculars. It's coming soon. It's in October. You can even do it from the middle of Los Angeles. Show people the moon through a telescope or on the sidewalk. Sidewalk astronomers with John Dobson in the past used to and still do this on a regular basis. This isn't rocket science. This is easy how to hook somebody on the night sky and convince them that your call for knocking out all those stupid streetlights, which actually aid criminals, is a better option. As I say, there's so much you can do. The sky is literally the limit. You've got the planets. You've got moons around our solar system planets. You can show people Jupiter. You can show them Mars. You can show them Venus early in the mornings or early evenings, depending on what's going on. There's
or in the daytime.
Yeah, you can image the moon and Jupiter in daytime. You just got to know where to point your telescope.
That's right.
There's apps you can use to explain what you're looking at. I quite often will use an app that's on my smartphone to show me what is in the night sky, to give me an idea what I can point out to people. Get a laser pointer. Be careful not to point it at an aircraft. That is a federal offense. But if you're careful and you watch what you're doing, you can point out wonderful things. You can show them asterisms in the sky. You can show them constellations.
Constellations are also very easy.
Yeah.
Literally, if you look at one, you can tell you're looking at the Big Dipper.
Yeah, you can tell Ursa Major, Ursa Minor, Cassiopeia, Pegasus, Orion very easily. They're very easy constellations to spot when they're above the horizon. So you know what? There is no excuse. You can hook people on the sky very easily. And then you can have them come back to your astronomy session, to your star parties and everything. You can take them to your club star parties. You can tell them stories about the characters who make up the constellations in the sky. The Greek myths, the Arab stories, the Australian stories about the creatures in the sky. There's so much there you can pass on to people. I did say the Greeks. You can keep the old stories, the old myths alive by retelling them and how they got there. Welcome back, Red Shirt 3. Glad you made it back into chat. And if you're not into chat, you're missing all the fun. Evil Spock points out Cyclops on the action had laser eyes. Not quite laser eyes, because normally when he drops his visor, you get one almighty whack from a single beam. But as I say,
and I wouldn't want to be
that Gort.
Yeah, Gore even did that. But hey, we even have fun with science fiction, don't we, Marty?
Mm-hmm.
But as I say, there's so much up there that you can show: the moon, the planets, some of the closer stars.
Depends on your scope and your skies.
This is very, very true. We're in the northern hemisphere. We have the traditional Greek and Arabic constellations and stars. Orion is coming back into the sky as we speak, which heralds the winter constellations. In fact, Orion is one of the tests for light pollution that is used. How many stars do you see in Orion? Yeah. In Orion, I haven't even had a drink yet. Sorry, Aqua, for you. I haven't been doing Snow Zone yet. So, as I say, there is just so much you can do. And of course, the best thing about star parties is if you're a budding astronomer and you're thinking about buying a telescope, you'll get to see what other people are using and what they're using it for. And to be honest, I always recommend buy a pair of binoculars first. Because that way, even if you decide you're not an astronomer, you can go bird watching, you can use it for other purposes in the daytime. But you know what? There is just so much out there that you can do with binoculars. Wildlife spotting, yes. And of course, you can go to Phil Harrington's website to his binocular challenges and use his star charts, and you can see exactly. You can try and make out what's available. In fact, I'm going to put a link in. Just 1 second. Let me just.
All right, you do that, and I'll throw it out to some of our chat room people. What's your favorite type of binocular object to look at? So give it a shot. Now there's a lot of things you can do with binoculars. Obviously, constellations are a little too big for binoculars. But you could just kind of scan the skies until something comes up. So you might look for little fuzzy spots, which might be part of the Messier group, like star clusters or galaxies or things like that. You might look for little groups of stars called asterisms. So it might be just a dozen or 10 stars or something that form a little group. So you can find those with binoculars. Till you get more used to it, you can find double stars with binoculars, star clusters, different types of star clusters, globular clusters, the round ones that are pretty compact. You can find binoculars. You can find open clusters. You can find huge superclusters called galaxies, and of course planets. Different features on, or just being able to find planets and asteroids too.
Yeah.
Continuing the list of planets, you can definitely find a few semi-planets, we'll call them, out there. So a lot of things you can see with binoculars. But so each individual has their own choice. So to our chat room out there, what are your most favorite types of binocular objects to look at out there?
Yeah.
Big, because smaller binoculars versus big binoculars too. A couple different things to think about. Like small binoculars are generally wide angle, get to see more stars, but more powerful binoculars are fun also. Get to kind of zoom in on some of the little fuzzy spots and make them a little bit more clarified. Go ahead, Nick.
Okay, so I've put one link in, which is his from Cloudy Nights. It's his Cosmic Challenge. Now, this is from one of his older columns, and if you were a member of a certain remote telescope, you'll remember Phil Harrington, as we all do. I used to enjoy Phil's shows because he would start talking about an object, and I'd hit him with a paper on it, and then we would be completely diverted, and we'd start discussing what I'd found. So
what was that? Still with me, Nick?
I'm still with you.
Okay, good. I heard a little quick stop there, and didn't hear anything for 5 seconds after that. So
so for some reason my mute button got hit.
There
you go. There's cloudynights.com, Phil Harrington's Binocular Universe. He did a book called Touring the Universe Through Binoculars. It links you to a freeware program, which I think is still available. And you can set up your own star charts. And the really great thing is you have challenges.
Yeah.
So one of the ones, this is going back to 2016, it's Scorpius the Scorpion. And you could spend a warm clear summer evening just sitting back and casually scanning the scorpion's crooked body from head to tail. There's asterisms, clusters, nebulae, hours of fascinating sky watching with binoculars.
Mm-hmm.
There's, as I say, there's a complete list of challenges there. There's winter, backyard evolution. The thing is, Phil teaches astronomy. I think he's now retired, but he was at Stony Brook, and he taught it there. And there's a whole load of things. There's October 2015, Gone Fishing. Capricornus, the sea goat; Aquarius, the water bearer; Pisces, Ostranus, the southern fish; Cetus, the whale; Pisces, the fishes. They're all low in the southern sky for most of us in the northern hemisphere. So you may have to travel to a dark sky site that's...
Yeah, I was going to say what used to be better about binocular astronomy more in the past than is now is that the skies were darker. Yeah. And you would actually be capable of seeing more. And it was a lot more fun using binoculars. Quite a few years ago, because you could actually... dark skies were a lot closer, sometimes your own backyard, even from like just outside of major cities. Skies were much darker. And binoculars definitely were a lot more fun to start out with astronomy a long time ago, just because of the dark skies.
Hey, Uptronics, glad you made it. Yeah, I will take a look at that video, Red Shirt 3, just after the show. But let's say the thing is, people say, oh, binoculars, boring. No, they're not. You can certainly see Jupiter. You can see the Galilean moons.
Yep.
You can do an awful lot of observations of the moon. Yes. You can buy adapters so you can connect your smartphone to your binoculars, to one of the lenses, and take pictures through it. There's tons of work to be done. Yep. There's Gary Serenick's website for a great binocular mount, and you can use a simple camera tripod in a lot of cases to get your feet wet and get hooked on binocular astronomy.
It definitely larger binoculars that really get a little bit heavy after a while. Then having a tripod mount for the binoculars, holding them up, and plus you pick up at least one, if not two more magnitudes by having your binoculars mounted on a tripod compared to hand holding them, because just that little bit of jiggle in your hands, I guarantee you will lose at least one magnitude of stars that way.
And of course, the really great thing is if you've got people if you're doing something like International Observe the Moon Night, it is much easier if they're on a tripod to keep the image steady and give people a better appreciation of what they're seeing.
The one thing that better though, binoculars and tripod for the general public is what's that? Is it trapezoid type of binocular holder that basically you can move the binoculars on a tripod or on a camera mount, but you can move the binoculars up and down, and the mounting device will actually keep the binoculars pointing at the same spot in the sky, the same object, while you move them up and down. So a shorter person can use them, and then you raise them up for a taller person, they could use them, and basically everybody in between. So it really makes a difference for the public viewing of with binoculars to get that type of mount for them.
Okay, Marty, you better do your business because we're pretty much at the bottom of the hour.
We are at about the bottom of the hour, so that's where we'll go from. You're listening to the Event Horizon here on Astronomy.fm radio. That means it is another Friday evening, August the 23rd, 2019, about halfway through our program. So that makes it about 9:30 in the evening for those of us here in the eastern portion of North America, and lately daylight savings time. Universal time puts us on Saturday morning, August the 24th at 1:30 in the morning. Ish, close enough. So that means we're live for the next half hour, and come on over and join us in our chat room if you'd like to do that. If you want to ask us questions or make comments, or if you have your own astronomy pictures, you can pop them into our chat room. Coming up after the Event Horizon. We have, where is
More
that?
me. Yes,
We have Comet Watch and Jodcast coming up after. And then we repeat all these programs every 4 hours for the next 24 hours. So you don't have to catch, if you're getting too late for you, you don't have to catch us right now. You can catch us at a more comfortable time. You can also pick up these broadcasts on Nick's YouTube channel.
Yep.
Want to shout out the address for that?
Okay, so what you need to do is go to YouTube and put in Bedfordshire Astronomer, and that will take you to my page on YouTube, and you will see the Event Horizon. You will see accounts for Comet Watch, and you will see an account for Space Pirates. Because when I actually do get given copies of the shows, I do turn them into videos. And you will see some pictures of AFM. You will see the Space Pirate ship. You'll even see a few pictures of Marty and of Diane as well, because I have been on your various pages and pinching pictures for your videos.
Great. Okay, I typed in Bedfordshire, and what do I need to add to that?
Bedfordshire.astronomer, because that is my email.
Astronomy.
.astronomer. Okay, so
Astronomer. All right, let me click on that and see how smoothly it goes there. And let's see. Pines Observatory to become an astronomer. I don't see us there. Yeah, doing a general search. Can't quite find it, Nick. Got any other leads?
Let's see what we can do. I've got to get into my Google account to do that. Okay, so in fact, there's an easy way to do this.
Okay. Because just doing the search doesn't quite get me. There's a bunch of astronomy stuff.
Yeah.
But not by typing in Bedfordshire.astronomer.
Okay, so just 1 second. I'm just going into here.
Yeah.
I have got so much stuff here. I've got my language courses and everything else.
Yeah. It's also posted. It's also a link posted on our Facebook page too, right? The Astronomy.fm Facebook page.
I put the direct link to the shows, to the actual playlists as well.
Okay. All right. So that should get you there. I'll double check it just to be sure, and then we'll still work on how to get people to the YouTube page directly by doing a direct search.
There you go. There is the actual playlist of 34 videos for the Event Horizon.
All right. So what would be this? Is there any way of doing a search for it on YouTube? Random search?
That's the difficult thing. YouTube isn't very good at random searches, unfortunately.
I know. So you got to basically type in the exact address.
Okay. Let me do this a slightly different
video.
way.
So let's see. YouTube.com playlist, and then it's a whole bunch of just words and letters and code and message.
All you really need to search is Nick Yvette's and put the word YouTube after it, and it will take you right there.
All right. Let me try that. Thing. Where's my Facebook?
No, not on Facebook. You've got to do it in your favorite search engine. I did it on Google.
Oh, sorry, YouTube. I meant Let me do it on YouTube. All right.
No, do it on a search engine.
On a search engine? Okay.
Yeah.
Just for the heck of it, I'm going to try it in. I'm going to try it.
I just simply put my name in, put the words YouTube afterwards, and it brings me up. I'm at the top result. And yes, first thing I get to see is I have 47 subscribers, and it's giving me a whole bunch of the Event Horizon.
Okay. So I'm not going to try that on. I can try it on YouTube then. So I'll try it on Google.
Yeah.
Vets, and what else did I need? YouTube.
I put the word YouTube afterwards. If you're trying to figure out the spelling for my last name, it is EVETTS.
All right.
So as I say, there is a little picture of me in the Radio Shack with a pen and paper, pencil and paper, because I was actually listening to a QSO at the time, and I believe that's my old man's ICOM 718 that I was using at the time. First rule of ham radio: listen, listen, and listen, then speak.
Not working in my search. It gives me a Nick Evers YouTube.
No, EVETTS.
EVETT. All right, let me try that. Nick Yvette's YouTube. Do a search again. And Nick Yvette's YouTube. It comes up.
Yep. See,
Event Horizon. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Starstorm has put the spelling in the chat room.
All right. Sounds real good. Okay.
Yep.
That
well,
works.
that's done it, Marty.
That's it. I always like to confirm that. Yeah, sometimes our links, I know, even on our Facebook page, don't always work.
That's why I now put when I do the shows and turn them into YouTube videos, I put the links into the notes because there they actually work properly.
Mm-hmm. I know not everybody gets into our chat or onto our Facebook or anything else. I like to do it verbally, so if they're listening carefully, they can hear what website to go to.
So basically, that will show you all the Event Horizon shows. I do have three other channels, because when I go into my Switcheroonie, my Switch account page, it gives me Comet Watch, AFM Space Pirates, Under British Skies, and my own account.
Mm-hmm. And yes, we are trying to get some work done on our own web page, but it's everybody's just incredibly busy, and we have a very, very limited crew to be able to work on stuff like that. So, but yes, we know we are trying.
So as I say, you can also see the fact that I have the links for Japanese, Korean, Chinese, both Mandarin and Cantonese, and Vietnamese there. And
of course, if anybody would like to donate a very, very large sum of money, we can get this stuff accomplished much faster, even though we're not a non-profit.
As Pavel Chekhov would say, absolutely.
All right.
But as I say...
He would also say that was invented in Russia.
By a little old lady in Leningrad.
Remember that part.
Can you? Yeah, as always, by little old lady in Leningrad.
Okay.
Yep.
Science fiction television shows, and there were lots of movies and stuff like that throughout the 50s. I remember, look at those old movies, and they've got a standard rocket, which the interior is always incredibly larger than it is on the exterior, almost a TARDIS. And they're pretending to be 100 years in the future, and what they've got, like reel-to-reel recorders and things like, and everything's totally manual, stuff like that. Well, Star Trek obviously tried to take computers, for instance, to the next level, with instead of tape or magnetic tape or something like that, they had these little discs that they slipped in, and they were not even what the first computer were looking like.
They looked like floppy disks, didn't they, Marty?
Well, yes, but not really. They didn't look so flexible and cheesy and flimsy like floppy disks. They were obviously something that had more substance to it. I don't remember if any of them were clear or not, but they're definitely more realistic towards real computers. But they still lacked a lot of the futurism in that. But they had the mini computers of like the Doctor's computer and what's his name, Spock's handheld computer, stuff like that. Yep, tricorder. So again, getting a little bit more realistic in what the future could possibly hold, even though they didn't quite see the advances that were really coming with smaller and smaller computers that they couldn't imagine them being that small.
I think the thing is, they upsized it to fit the ship. So they had a central computer core and everything, because to run a starship, obviously the computer, you had to have a huge computer, really.
Yep.
And a very fast one.
Mm-hmm. Which pointed out, just to dematerialize somebody and rematerialize them someplace else would take actually like a computer the size of the universe to do that.
You'd have to compare atoms and molecules,
subatomic particles and stuff like So some things had to have a big computer. That was understandable. Obviously, the part about faster than light travel was acceptable just to make the show better, and everybody knew it was probably not going to happen that way. But it was more like the old-fashioned stuff. But even the old 50s rockets, they never got into zero-G and maneuvering in zero-G, and they always had unlimited power when it was just gasoline-powered rockets type of thing. So.
laddie, the power of dilithium crystals.
That's right, antimatter too.
And fusion drive. In fact, Evil Spock says in the chat room, M5 was a bit of an awkward thing. That was pretty much a Frankenstein story, really.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, there were previous stories like Colossus about the computer that wanted to take over the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things. They even did a Halloween story called Cat's Paw with all the classic Halloween elements: black cats,
castle,
Macbeth's castle. What more could you ask? Macbeth in space.
They've had a few castle episodes.
But
Spock is mentioning the Forbin project.
That was with the one with the Colossus computer in it, where it finds it has an opponent called Peter the Great, and both Peter the Great and Colossus take over the world after a limited nuclear exchange.
Mm-hmm. Which that is actually still quite possible.
Well, I suppose the greatest thing that Roddenberry taught us is that he had a belief in a future where
everything was okay.
Well, everything was a lot better. The old issues were gone. Tribalism was a thing of the past. It had burnt out, and nobody cared what color you were or where you came from, because everybody was equal. We had the same DNA, etc., etc., which is quite reasonable. It is actually quite true. There is no such thing as racism because we are all the same race, Homo sapiens.
Mm-hmm.
It's tribalism, yes, but Kirk's time proposes that we've got past that. Peter the Great, Evil Spock. We got past the tribalism of the past, and we cooperated and worked together for a better future. It's a nice thought. It kind of was nice. He strived to be as scientifically accurate as possible. He talked to people from NASA who were at that point, that very, very point in time, were bringing Mercury, Gemini, Apollo online. He asked them about, would you do this? Would you do that? This is what I've got. How would it actually be handled in real life? He made every effort to bring real science into a show. It was wagon. He sold the show as Wagon Train to the Stars.
There you go. The other thing I thought they lacked of the futuristic thing that was which actually was real in our time in the 60s, was cameras, video. And they had audio all over the place, but they didn't have video all over that. I mean, that one ship could talk to another ship light years and light years away, or a space station light years away, but they couldn't really have video between the ship and the ground, which is really, really wrong.
I don't know. Space 1999 got around that. They introduced FaceTime before Apple even thought about it with the Comlocks. But that's science fiction for you. It finds a way to work for the show, which ends up being copied in real life. Yeah, Peter the Great. Yeah, okay, that was the film Meteor, where the American rocket system was Hercules, I believe. That was another fantastic sci-fi show that talked about finding ways to defend against near-Earth objects, which were going to be fairly cataclysmic.
Plus, go ahead.
They actually tried to keep it. The idea there was they were going to use nuclear warheads to create a blast effect to push the rock away. instead of just destroying it like they did in Armageddon, etc. They went for using it to create a blast effect, which, okay, we know that you can't really use a blast effect in space, but you could use a rocket motor effect to push it away, and that's what I think what they were aiming at. Again, the people on the movie at least had a glimmer of real science. They knew what the rock could do if it actually impacted on the Earth. When the shards which preceded it impacted, causing tsunamis and devastation, it was very much a harbinger of Shoemaker Levy 9. We do go into Shoemaker Levy 9. We go into Lexell's Comet and a few other things in Comet Watch August Part 1. It is Part 1 because I had a storm moving in and I actually lost my monitors at one point. We decided that we're going to reconvene just before the end of the month and record Part 2. Jim Scotty is a brilliant guest. He's always good fun. The same with his counterparts, Rick Kowalski and Rich Hall. They're brilliant guys. We love having them on the show because they're always fun, and we get to have a bit of fun discussing near-Earth objects, comets, and whatever really tickles our fancy at some point. It's like this show, Marty. We go off at angles sometimes.
Sometimes.
But
I also didn't like. I know it was for dramatic effect, but I think they had better dramatic effect if they didn't have on every unknown, dangerous away mission all of the officers go down to the surface. I just thought that was just really kind of boring. You know, they thought it was because it was the main characters, it would be a lot more exciting, and I thought, no, I think it would be a lot more exciting if you had the ship, like a real research ship with people down on a new surface, interacting with things that were coming up, and basically they would have a huge control room for a mission, almost like our modern space mission control rooms, with half a dozen people down on the surface of the planet, and maybe 100 people up on the ship controlling what's going down on the surface of the planet for an unknown planet. Now, if it's a diplomatic mission, it's reasonably friendly. Okay, yeah, the officers can go and do that. But for a real research mission, no, I didn't like the officers going away on something like that. I thought that was
Rich is right. That was amazing to see the dark spots from the Shoemaker Levy 9 impact.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still the images still today resonate. But let's face it. In Next Generation, Picard was banned from away missions. That was Riker's format.
Mm-hmm.
I think the thing is, science fiction has got so many of us into astronomy. It's got us into the academic side as well. I'm looking forward to go. I really want to go back to college, university in the UK. I want to get. I know I'm never going to use a degree in planetary science in anger as a job, but you know what? I don't care. It's the fun of learning, and the fact that I'm actually going to have to learn at least 3 different languages as part of my degree now, because astronomy is international. I am being reminded that I should pick up basic conversational Korean, Cantonese or Mandarin, and Japanese. Why? Because these are the countries who are actually forging ahead of the West. They're building cutting edge instruments. They're doing the research, and if you want time on their kit, it is really, I think the best thing is that if you can actually converse with them in their own language and understand what's going on better than really relying on interpreters. It's much more fun as well because it makes the actual scientific cooperation enjoyable, because some people there some of the scientists you're working with may have English, some may not, but if you've got at least a very basic knowledge of the language where you are, it's just so much more fun, and it means things gel, and it's more fluid and enjoyable. because then you can go out after a hard night on the observatory working. You can actually go out and have some fun together and relax and really enjoy each other's company. I think that's something that's really important. And again, this is something that I think that Star Trek has really, really taught me, is that that having the ability to converse with each other and be understood without misinterpretation or misunderstanding is the important. Oh, you've got a story about Chandrayaan 2, haven't you, Marty?
Well, yeah, I was just say maybe you're gonna need learn a new language about every month or so, because another country is coming up with a space program, just like the Indian Space Agency, ISRO. I can't remember that Indian Space
Research Organization.
Yeah, there you go. Well, they just launched a mission. They just launched a mission to the moon. Yeah. Chandrayaan 2, and it has a lunar lander on it. So it's still recently launched. I don't think it's going to be all that long before they actually attempt to launch. Going to attempt to launch at the lunar South Pole, I would assume, trying to get into one of the dark craters and look for water in there. So they said, yeah, if you want to talk to people in doing space missions, you're going to have to pick up another country about every month or so.
Well, I think the thing is, English is universal. We know that. English is a language that follows other languages down a dark alley and mugs it. If you look at English, it has so many words it's borrowed from other languages. It's fascinating. But sometimes just being able... Go on, Starstorm.
Not to mention dialects.
Yeah, dialects. Street terms. But the thing is, in some respects, if you can really meld and knit together as a team, having the ability to understand, it will also perhaps allow us to have the future that Roddenberry proposed for us. Yeah, to knit together, to actually perhaps get away from any misunderstandings which can happen particularly if you are dependent on interpreters, because then you are really depending on somebody understanding what you're trying to say. So if you have the ability to speak another language when you're working abroad, or if you can pick up enough of the local language or dialect that you can actually communicate clearly and with that misunderstanding, it makes everything so much better. And that is, as I say, that is one of the things I think Roddenberry was really, really pushing with his Universal Translator program that the Enterprise had and most of Starfleet always used. It helped build a bridge, and I don't know. I think there's too much misunderstanding in the world, and if you can make the effort at least to have enough of the language of where you are, that you can get on and bridge the gap, I think that would make it would stop an awful lot of what's going on. And I am being yelled at. We have 5 minutes.
Yeah, I know that. Observers around the world tonight. After midnight for our local Eastern time, so that would put it at 1:30 in the morning. Tomorrow morning, the Soyuz capsule will be docking to the space station. So, good idea to go to heavensabove.com and look and see if you have any visible ISS space station passes over your area tonight for the next about three hours or so. And you might be able to catch a glimpse of the space station flying over, and you can try your best. If you can zoom in on it, maybe you might be able to see the Soyuz capsule right next to the space station. That's happening tonight, by the way.
Now, I know that there's one guy in the UK, Salzburg, who's part of the North Holt Observatory Group. He is really wicked at imaging the ISS. I know for a fact he's got quite a few of the Soyuz capsules. He's got images of the Dragon capsule when it's docked and departed. He really takes he uses the stuff that's for deep sky much closer to home, and he produces some really, really wicked images
Mhm.
of the ISS. Some of them are transits against the moon. Some are docking, undocking, and stuff like that. It's fun. It's something that can be done if you know that you've got a good pass and you've got decent skies. You can image it and have a bit of fun. Post your pictures. Show everybody the wow factor. Yeah, Redshift 3, I agree. It's nice to be with kindred spirits. And I think that is one thing all astronomers should be, is we should be able and happy to talk to fellow astronomers anywhere in the world.
I just looked up for my area. The ISS will not be passing over me. It for the next 10 days. It passed over me in the nighttime. By the way, about 5, 6, 7 times the previous 10 days, but nothing coming up. So I won't be able to get a chance of seeing that.
See, the nice thing is for me, Marty, is even if I can't go for an optical pass, I can go for a radio pass.
Mm-hmm.
Even just to pick up the beacon from the 2-meter repeater that's on the ISS. That is a happy feeling for me, because that means I'm in the right space. I'm in the right frequency. I can hear it. I can hear its call sign going out, and thinking, if only somebody was close to a radio right now. Heck, I'm going to put it out. I'm going to give a yell out to the radio amateurs on the ISS. Every astronaut that goes up there has an amateur radio call sign. They do contacts with schools and everything else. It's AISS, I believe is the mission name. They allow school kids to talk to astronauts during a pass and quickly get questions answered whilst it happens. I think that is probably one of the greatest things the ISS has ever done. It makes space science accessible to all levels of school kids.
Mm-hmm. Let's got one little article. When the NASA InSight lander landed on Mars, it actually blew a little rock about an inch diameter away from the landing site, and they have images of the path that it rolled in through the dirt. And NASA has now unofficially named that rock Rolling Stones Rock, after the rock band.
Sweet. Now, one quick story I'm going to paste.
Better be quick, because we're down to the last 45 seconds.
Yeah, I know. So this is a story that I am covering on Comet Watch, which is next. ESA has got a mission to intercept comets. It's a 3 space probe job, and this is something most of us on Comet Watch have been yelling for ages. So space comet interceptor, we will discuss it on Comet Watch. Yeah, I know, Marty, it's time to beam up. Chief Engineer Rob, this is the away team. Tell Captain Savick we are ready to beam up. Me, Starstorm, and Marty. Energize.
Don't forget, everybody, we got more programming coming up after the Event Horizon. We repeat every 4 hours. See you next week. Good night.
Not everyone. Look up.
We hope that you've enjoyed this program from AFM Radio, the broadcast service of Astronomy.fm. This program has been released under Creative Commons license. Please contact us for details. You may find more of our AFM original programs on our website. It's really easy to find us. We are Astronomy.fm. You may also find us in the iTunes radio listings near the top of the News Talk section, and also as an iTunes podcast selection. We'd love to hear your comments. Please email us at radio@astronomy.fm. Thanks so much for being part of the voice of astronomy around the world and across the known universe. This is Astronomy.fm Radio.
Hi, this is Tavi Greiner, Astronomy.fm's Vice President of Communications. If you enjoy our programming, please let us know with a donation to Astronomy.fm/donate. We really do rely on your support, and it's true. Every little bit counts.
AFM. There I was, doing my thing. And all of a sudden, wham! Astronomy right between the eyes.